So last week I was chilling in CorruptedG's stream while he was playing some Rocket League. And if you don't know who he is, he played for EG, and then now he plays for Chaos Gaming, I believe is what they're called, down in RRS. I'll link his stream down below if you want to go check him out. But someone in the chat brought up an interesting point in my opinion, and it was that the Rocket League scene is they think the Rocket League scene is somewhat in trouble. And by that I mean they think having all these different winners and having the outcomes be totally random. They think that that is hurting the watchability of the Rocket League scene. And I sat there and I was just looking at chat. I'm a lurker, and I was just looking through, and I thought a lot of people would disagree with them, but it seems like a decent amount agreed. They're just like, yeah, they're like, I miss when like one team was dominating because you get those insane upsets, like the Dignitas era, stuff like that, or where it was just the big three in the U.S. or in North America, so the G2, the NRG, and the Cloud9, and stuff like that. And it got me thinking, because I mean, the scene has been insanely crazy over the past like year. I would say past year and a half, and I think they've mentioned it on like the major streams, but like the last 8 tournaments all have different winners. Like DreamHack Montreal was the Peeps, the Summit was NRG, RLCS 7 was Vitality, WSOE was F3 when they were still a thing, DreamHack Valencia was PSG or Reciprocity, DreamHack Dallas, or sorry, I mean RLCS season 6 was Cloud9, and it's like all different teams are winning these tournaments, and there's no consistency like whatsoever in who's gonna win. And so I kind of wanted to talk about whether or not this is an issue, and in my opinion, it's not. I think it makes having not knowing who's gonna win ever. I think it makes Rocket League extremely exciting to watch, and I'm gonna juxtapose this to professional sports and look at the NBA. Like the past few years, like first of all, everyone hates not everyone. A lot of people hate watching the NBA, or they did hate watching the NBA, because you go into the season and every single year you knew that the Warriors were going to be in the finals. Whether they win or not, you don't know. But they're going to be in the finals, and then there's a good chance that LeBron James was going to be in the finals. So the Cavs or the Heat, like for a good like 6 years, that was the you knew that's what was going to happen. And so other teams during the year wouldn't try like halfway through the season because they know they aren't going to make it to the playoffs, right? And then you have your big teams who know they're going to win it all not start trying until they get to the finals. And so games were just boring, and people preferred watching college basketball, and the NBA just wasn't exciting pretty much throughout the whole season until the very end. And I think the same can be said for Rocket League. Not saying that it was boring to watch, the seasons are too short, but like you knew Cloud9, Energy, G2 were going to be top 3. Like that's just how it was. Europe's always been a little crazier, but like that's just who you knew for North America. Those were going to be the top 3, and you could even I think Miss was being interviewed this RLCS, and the interviewers were asking about how I think it was when they beat Cloud9. I don't know, but they're asking them. They're just like, hey, like, did you expect, like, how do you think the season's going, blah, blah, blah. They're like, yeah, we knew we were facing 2 of the big 3 teams the first 2 games of our season, and we just knew those were going to be losses, and, like, we knew this game right here, I think they're playing Ghost or something, like, we knew this game right here, if, like, we win this, that's when our season starts. And it's just, like, teams were going in, like, lower team tiers are just, like, going in, like, yeah, we're going to lose to these big 3 teams. Now, looking at RLCS this season, it's obvious that there really is no big 3 in North America anymore. I mean, Energy still they're at your top. You can look at them as, I guess, the Warriors if you want to. But I mean, you got the Pittsburgh Knights in there, who were the peeps, and they're continuing to show that DreamHack just wasn't a fluke. That they're a quality team. Their play style is so insane. You can see teams adapting to them, right? They're not adapting to their teams. They're making teams adapt to them, and I think it's incredible. I don't like their play style bugs me, but respect. You got Space Station up at 3-2, Ghost at 3-3, G2 at 2-3, Birds at 2-4, Cloud9 at 1-4, seventh place. Cloud9 could be going to the relegation tournament or the promotion playoffs. Like, imagine. So obviously, right now, we don't have the lopsidedness that we had in other seasons. Like, we have Mouse up at 4-1 on the EU side. Team Reciprocity up at 4-2. That's not surprising. But like Veloce Esports, the only reason Veloce Esports is in here is because Triple Trouble disappeared. Like, their roster broke up, and they're 4-2. Vitality 3-2. Complexity 0-6. That's the biggest shock. So if we look at previous seasons, it was NRG 7-0, G2 6-1. They lost to NRG. Cloud9 4-3, but still top 3. They weren't even tied with 4th, 5th, or 6th place. 4-3, and their losses were to G2, which, I mean, G2 is popping off. And G2 usually gives Cloud9 a tough run for their money. And NRG, and then I think Cloud9 had a fluke loss to who? To Space Station. Space Station seems to have Cloud9's number. But, like, the top 3 was still very, very much a thing. And if we look over at Europe, we scroll down, we have Vitality, PSG, Barcelona, top 3. And those are, I mean, that's kind of what you expect. And Mouse Esports was 8th place. 8th place. And now they're at the top of the league this year. So what I'm getting to is, I was just kind of explaining the situation we're in now, like this season compared to last season and previous season before. I mean, we had Dignitas going 21-0, or 21-1 or whatever, losing one game out of a series the whole season. Like, as soon as that era ended, everyone thought, like, Cloud9 ended that era. Everyone was like, oh, maybe Cloud9 is going to be the team now. And then from then on, it's just different teams winning different tournaments. And back to my point of this guy in chat, he was just like, I think this is bad because it's less exciting to watch. And he's like, I want to see upsets and stuff like this. But in my opinion, I want to see consistently good matches. I don't want to go into a match and be like, yeah, G2 is going to slap around the Birds. Like, no, I want it, like, I'm a G2 fan, but, like, I want Birds to give G2 a fight. I want it to be an entertaining game. Or like when Reciprocity ends up going against like the Pittsburgh Knights. Like, I want it to be a close game, because the closer the games are, first of all, the more Rocket League you get to watch, the better plays that come out. Because the closer games are, the more players have to become creative. They have to think of something new in order to start scoring or to save goals or whatever the case may be. I just think overall, the game benefits from not one team dominating, because people will lose, just like the NBA. People will lose interest. Like if let's say NRG, who's looking really strong right now. I don't want to jinx them, but nope, we're not gonna do it. Dignitas back in the day. People will go into world championships or tournaments and stuff like that and be like, yeah, Dignitas is going to win this. And everyone knew. People predicted the upsets or wanted the upsets. But, like, their predictions were less of predictions and more of, I want this to happen. But people just knew Dignitas was the best team out there and no one could beat them. And it wasn't until Cloud9 did their absurdity on those 3 days that people were like, oh, yeah, people can beat Dignitas. And now everything's changed. And I think that's good for the sport, because it brings people into the scene to where, like, look at the Knights. The Peeps have gained so many fans. And maybe people who don't follow Rocket League, but they followed the Pittsburgh Knights before they had a Rocket League team, and they're like, oh, we have a Rocket League team now, and they're like, let's see how good they are, and they're in second place. And that's good for the whole like esport, because then the Pittsburgh Knights have gained new fans. Rocket League has gained new fans. But like, if someone's like, oh, the esport organization I support has a Rocket League team, let's look at how good they are, and they're dead last every year, and like they start asking like, hey, what are the chances of them like doing well? They're like, oh, 0, because Cloud9 and NRG G2 are the only teams that are ever good in North America Rocket League. Everyone else sucks. Everyone's like, new people coming in are gonna be like, oh, that's kind of lame. I don't want to watch my team just get slapped around. So I want to hear your opinions. Would you rather see like a big 3, or do you like this kind of a mess where, I mean, I love this mess. Like going into this upcoming week, the last week of RLCS, like it's crunch time for a lot of these teams and these big organizations like G2 and Cloud9. Like these are big weeks, and in my opinion, it makes it much more exciting. And if you look over to like the English Premier League, like the battle for top 3 in the EPL is just as exciting as the battle for bottom 3 in the English Premier League, because those teams are fighting for their lives, fighting for their careers, and I think it's just gonna make for something that's much more exciting to watch than going into week 5 and knowing, yeah, the Birds are being relegated, or whoever's being relegated, So that's my opinion on the whole matter. It's kind of a ramble, again, just kind of a casual talk. Let me know what you guys think below. Do you like big 3s, or do you just kind of like the zoo we got going on now? Because I'm personally a big fan of the zoo. Tell me if there's some pros and cons I missed. This is kind of just off the dome, so I'm sure I missed something. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later. Peace.